Jarek, how do you say your last name?
That is something I've actually
How do you think you say my last name?
I don't even remember how. I know it starts with an N and has whack.
I know how it's spelled. It's
got whack in it.
It's Nalewak, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know how it's spelled.
Nawak.
Nawak.
Now.
It's close.
Nawak.
Nawak?
Now, so okay, this is how you say it. It's Nalawak.
Now
walk.
So
Yeah,
like now walk.
Yeah, now I walk.
Now
is
I
what
walk.
Now I walk.
That's how I tell people.
Oh, and you can just
now
like kind
I
of
walk.
now I walk, and you can just like slur.
Then you
now I
leave.
walk.
Yeah.
And then you leave.
Yeah.
Because if people ask you that, you're
walk.
like, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Now I walk, and you walk away.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like
Okay.
beautiful.
Thank you.
I've always wondered that.
Do you know what that is?
I know it's
anything?
Polish, but that's all I got.
Every time I introduce you, I'm just like, yeah, Jarek. They're like, Jarek who? And I'm like, you don't know any other Jareks.
Yeah.
Just Jarek.
I always get a lot of like, oh hi, my name's Jarek. Oh hi Jared, and it's just
I heard
awkward.
that happened to you at the burger place, right?
Yeah. Just
Jared,
today.
yes.
Or like
Jarek.
for those who
With a
don't
K.
know,
yeah.
Jarek. Jarek.
Yeah. Thank you.
For context, we all had lunch at Burger Yum in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania today. Shout out Burger Yum. Jarek's first time there as well. And I overheard them mispronounce his name and say Jared, and he said no, Jarek. Do you ever get tired of like correcting people?
No, I don't, because it's just so natural.
It's just
natural.
like built in.
Yeah, I'm just
Occasionally
whatever.
I get Keenan.
Keenan?
Yeah,
Keenan?
Keenan. Yeah, I'll be like Keegan. I'll be like, Keenan. No,
it's Keegan.
with a G. And I'm like, oh, okay.
That makes sense. Jarek, what got you into video?
I used to watch a lot of Casey Neistat.
Shout out Casey Neistat.
Shout out 2016,
Just moved back,
bro.
Just moved back
Just
to New
moved back
York.
to New York City.
Yeah, you were up to
Yeah.
date. Let's
Yeah.
Shout
go.
out 2016.
Yeah, literally.
2016
That's
GoPro.
when I think that's when I found him.
Oh yeah,
It was like 3 months into
Like
his whole
16 or
thing.
17.
I made the glasses too.
I was older.
Like,
Oh,
I made
do you
them.
still have them?
No, I gave them away. But yeah, like I loved GoPro. Like that. Those are the GoPro days. Just
Oh.
on the camera and then
Classic.
getting a DSLR,
Yeah.
T5i.
Dude,
Yeah.
there's something very romantic about 2016 YouTube because it was like a lot of vlogging and a lot of travel videos.
That was like the
And so
future of
those were like
filmmaking days.
the
yeah.
two like big like in the filmmaking side of YouTube. So like all the photographers and video people, those were like the two really succeeding genres, I think, of videos. So it was like these filmmakers or photographers who are vlogging in these cool places, and then people who are like doing travel videos. So I don't know if they would like claim to be photographers or video people, but it seemed like everyone was chasing like cool places and cool photos. And then like, a bunch of people would film like their girlfriend running on the beach in like 120. And it was just like over and over again. And it was funny. It's fun to make fun of.
Well, and it's like, I feel like that was the time too that everybody was like, YouTube is the future of
Yeah.
filmmaking.
People had
And it's
some,
like
like-
so interesting
Yeah.
how it.
That's when people thought it was
Yeah.
possible. Like that was like, oh shoot, people are actually doing this, and
I think that was the time where you saw real money starting to flow in.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, it's so interesting to watch how it's changed. And now it's like, if you follow like a little group of creators, they all make like the same video the same week.
That's because the embargoes, when they review gear, the company says
I didn't
you
know
can
that.
release this video on this date. And so they all do it at like 8 a.m.
I just feel
on
like
that date.
I just feel like that time in YouTube, like there's still really interesting things going on YouTube, but I think that time in YouTube was like a particularly like sandboxed era where like people did really creative things all across the board, and now there's a bit of a formula now to how like some of these videos work. I mean, it's always kind of been that way.
Well, I
But
think
there are trends that come along,
But that happens with like
that happens with commercial.
that happens with
filmmaking,
movies.
too.
That happens with commercial. Like when movies probably first came out, people were like started copying each other, and then like
Well, yeah, look
it
at like
became like a
the
standard.
studio system was
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
So there probably became a standard. So we're just going through that, like people creating the standard for it, and then eventually you'll see like creators pop up in and out who are making like regular content that isn't like just the same thing that all of their peers are making. But one of my favorite people from back then was Mr. Ben Brown. Have you ever heard of him? He's an awesome guy. He still makes videos, but he had some like life-changing moments after like a big accident and stopped sort of doing that whole like chasing Instagram posts and things like that.
Oh wait, is that the
He's
guy
from
who's like
South Africa.
house
Well, he's
burned
from
down?
England.
No,
And I think
okay,
he
I'm
lives in
thinking of a
South
different guy.
Africa. But he was awesome, dude. Like he and still is a very talented photographer. It's just like I really enjoyed his videos at that time because it was like an extreme version of what me and my friends were doing at that time, which was like, oh, are you free Friday night? Do you want to go out and take photos of sunset at like this place? Or, oh, are you free on Saturday? Like, let's go try to drive like 4 hours to a cool place and take like a photo of you standing on the edge of the mountain or whatever. But they were doing that in like Africa and like much more intense places, or they were going to like Canada for ski trips, and then like everyone started getting to know each other, and so everyone started popping into each other's videos, which is really cool.
And now it's become like a genre, which I think is really interesting.
What do you mean?
Like the vlogging world,
Oh,
or even
yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
Instagram world, has become its own genre of. I mean, I don't know if you can like classify that like on a technical. If we're gonna get all like highbrow technical, because I'm pretentious, so I'm always like thinking in that way. But it's like it's almost become its own genre of video of like, oh, that's a YouTube style video or a YouTube style vlog, or like this is like an Instagram photo, like in that Peter McKinnon, Casey Neistat, who else? Who are the other big ones? Like The House. And like they all have, there's now this like genre of like camera gurus of like, what is he? Oh, well, he's a YouTuber. How do you describe his films? Like, if you say like, oh, he's a YouTuber, like people get it now. Like there's a standard that comes up.
There's a connotation towards
that
a
didn't
YouTuber.
exist in the same vein.
Or
as
like people were
before.
embarrassed or like not willing to claim YouTuber as a title, and now people are.
Right, and now it's like, oh, if you say you're a filmmaker, this is like the debate you and I have talked about before too.
Like the line.
Like the line, yeah. It's like you start to see, like I feel like people like Neistat really blur that, and then like other people don't. But it's not like a good or bad thing. It's just like a thing that is. Are you talking about discourse?
Are you talking about like the professionalism in YouTube? Because I feel like people can learn from both being a filmmaker in the beginning and then a filmmaker as a YouTuber.
Right. No, I don't think there's anything like inherent. This is hard to like decipher because there is a level of me that's like, okay, you're not working with like,
you're not making narrative pieces.
Yeah, you're not making narrative
that are like
even
very easily claiming the title of this is a film.
Or even you're not making a brand film in the way that like some people are. Some people have bridged that line. Like Peter McKinnon, for example, has all those like, I don't know if it's Toyota or another company that sponsored him, where he goes out and he like does all these extreme like skiing things or something. Maybe that's for GoPro. I don't know. It was for some group. But that, to me, like there is a level even of commercial filmmaking that doesn't carry the same like professionalism just by nature of how the production is run, of like, okay, here's one person that does this thing. Here's one person that does another thing, instead of it's like, oh, okay, we're all gonna shoot out and go get content. That's okay, there's the word I'm looking for. It kind of like falls into like a content creator versus filmmaker, and I think that's what you were touching on. And I don't think one has like less value per se,
No, and they definitely
like a
all
commercial perspective, but like
two different
when
genres.
you get into an artistic value perspective, that's where things start to shift and change, because commercially they're just as valuable, like if not, like there's some commercials that maybe Peter McKinnon or Casey Neistat have made on YouTube as a YouTube video that are more commercially valuable than big budget commercials that those massive companies are spending money on. But then like some of the Nike commercials, for example, are the first things that come to mind at really blending it well. And this is where Casey Neistat, how he got like famous on YouTube, his Nike commercial was so huge because I think he did such a great job of blending really great storytelling with a brand's mission, and that's where the line starts to separate for me. But when it's just people like, hey, we've got this product, here's what it does.
Yeah, those feel definitely more video, but then like it also bleeds.
But you
like
can say
so
the
much,
same
but-
about big budget commercials that fall into that too. Then.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I think like story is probably where it deviates, or like story and intention. So like, is this meant to be a film, or is this meant to be like a review, like video of something? And I think that like the people who are like making videos for YouTube often like bleed over into like go back and forth between it, because like
It's a little
I
more
mean if you look
fluid.
at Peter McKinnon's stuff, like he has like tutorials, and I wouldn't say that those are films, right? And then he has like review videos, and
He's
then
got
he
like full documentaries.
but then he
though.
has like full documentaries
great,
or like
yeah.
short documentaries, like The Bucket Shot,
great,
where,
great
where
little
he's like
short.
doing interview, like
Yeah.
he's doing documentary films, and like
Great film.
and then they're like Danny Gevirtz, where he's just making a
Mhm.
movie on like
Just
through
his-
the funding of YouTube
Yeah.
and like other YouTubers.
See, this is where. Sorry, were you about to say?
No,
We're going back. We're going to go back to you, Jarek. By the way, we like totally jumped in on
No,
you.
you're good. I was gonna ask you what your definition is of film, and yeah,
I would
like,
say-
exactly. Like, what is
like
the definition?
film versus other
No,
things, or
just
like
just
what
the
is-
definition of film, because film I feel like is held to a higher standard, but like
Well,
in
and
YouTube
you can see that in
create
name.
films.
You can see that in naming too. So I don't think like film is where you put it. I think film is probably like what is. I would say something along the lines of like, there's a thematic story that you're communicating with the intention of calling it like a film. So I think there's like intention from the person who's making it, seeing it that way. And then I think there's a thematic story that's like has some sort of like arc, right? So like beginning, middle, end, with like this thing is about this thing.
I think if I can jump in,
I like jumping in.
I think that a word that we have not used yet that is actually the most integral to this whole like discussion is cinema. Because to me, film is a broad, the way that we've adopted it, since we don't really shoot on film as often and we have digital mediums, it's not fair to call certain digital
Yeah,
mediums.
that is weird that like filmmaker, like you're not really doing
So that's
film
where
anymore.
I'm gonna go, is like these digital mediums not all of them deserve to be called video, because obviously there's full-length films that are shot digitally and have been for years. And it's the leading part of the industry, but at the same time, not all of that is film in an artistic, like academic sense. But that's where it doesn't matter, because it's all based on the medium is film, right? The medium of capturing a motion picture, some sort of moving picture. But where we start to then break up distinctions is cinema, the word cinema, because that refers to a specific type of going to the movie theater. Like YouTube is not cinema. Like I don't think it is. Whereas
I think cinema and
But YouTube isn't just like the videos that you're making. YouTube is a place that you're putting them. So like if you put a film on YouTube, is that cinema? And like if you watch a film on Netflix in your living room, is that cinema?
I
Like
would say
is that
so.
the best experience of cinema? Probably not. Like a movie theater will reign supreme for a while, like until like some weird technology that you can like put a crazy headset on or something
hopefully
comes out.
forever.
Yeah, but
'Cause they're amazing.
but correct. I'm not,
I want
I'm
one
not,
really bad.
I'm not diminishing that, but I'm saying that like if you make like I think that's where like place comes in, and I don't think that YouTube as a platform eliminate. Like I think you can be a filmmaker and only post on Facebook, which is like weird. But
It's weird.
but I think would like fall into that. Like if you were
Right,
making like
right.
a family video that's like 25 minutes and it's like all about your vacation or whatever, and you just shot it and edited it on an iPhone.
I would
Like, is
say
that
that's
a
still a film.
If it's like the journey of like, this is us going to the vacation, what we did, and then coming back, like,
Yeah, because there's story and like intentionality.
yeah,
and,
I think a lot of vlogs can probably fit into the film.
I
Like this
agree.
is a film.
That's why I fell in love with
this
Casey
is a
Neistat.
piece of cinema.
Like
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was gonna
I'll
say
talk a lot.
I want to go back on your definition of cinema, and I feel like cinema is the best viewing experience of the content or what is it? The film.
You should eat that mic when you're talking. Get closer.
So like,
There you go.
Can we just trade? Because
Me too.
I
cinema,
can get closer.
Yeah.
I feel like cinema is a shared experience with the people that are viewing, and that's gonna.
But I love going to the movies alone.
Yeah, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, dude, I have some. We talked about this in
Yeah,
the
we
last
did.
podcast. But the first movie that I went to by myself was Avatar. The
Last
blue
Airbender.
people.
Really?
I told you. You don't remember the last podcast,
Bro, it
bro?
was like weeks ago.
That's
And we
true.
also talked about a whole lot of
We
stuff.
did. We were just looking at a long hour and a half. That was very rambly. But yeah, dude, I remember going to Avatar by myself, and like I remember watching all these like teenage like shows where they're like, if you go, they would make references like, you go to the movies by yourself, that's like social suicide. Like you're a dork, you know. And then I went because my brother and my mom, we all went to the same
Oh, no,
time.
I remember
but
this story now.
him and her went to go see some kids movie because he was like, I think still 11 at the time, so like wasn't able to get in. I remember, I think I was like 14. No, I was older.
It came out
like,
like
whatever.
Came out in
2010.
2010.
Yeah.
Okay,
'Cause
so
I
then I was
saw
older.
it.
So then
It's
that
my
means
first
I was
PG-13
like,
movie in the theater.
that means I was like 15.
Okay.
So Ian was like 13, but I think he went to go see something else. But I remember like coming out and being like, oh my God, this is an experience. Like that was a movie in my head. I was like, this is what movies are. I saw it in like 3D.
Oh,
throw away the glasses.
Dude, I was trying to like touch the. I remember trying to
look
touch
at the dragons, bro.
the leaves.
Yeah. So like crazy stuff. So I don't think by yourself or
Let me jump on that too. Of my first alone movie viewing experience was recent. It was The Batman, because Thomas and I were supposed to see it together, but we just couldn't make it happen. And so I really wanted to see it. My mom was just like, "Why don't you just go by yourself?" I was going through some stuff. She's like, it might be really nice because I don't do a lot of things like that by myself. She's like, it might be really nice for you if you just go do what you want to do. And I was like, okay. I was weird about it. I was like, oh, it's like,
yeah. I think
can I go to the movies
like
alone? And then it was
taboo.
amazing. I felt so. I was like, man, I can. It's like whenever you take yourself out to eat for the first time by yourself too. It's like the same kind of thing.
It's like everyone's watching me.
and you're like,
And
but it's
What
like,
am I supposed
yeah.
to do?
no, but you get to just like sit with
You just
yourself.
talk-
you
and
just
talk to
enjoy the
yourself,
experience.
yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And I watch movies all the time in my room by myself. Like my favorite viewing experiences was the first time I watched Seven, and I just watched it alone in like the middle of the night. Don't watch that movie alone in the middle of the night by yourself. But again, I think there's a lot of power in how. That's what's so beautiful about cinema is the way that it connects to both individuals and groups. And because you connect so well individually, you can then connect as a group. And
Well, it's
so-
also a different experience too. So like
just
seeing like a
changes
big
it, yeah.
like seeing like a big box office hit where like everyone's cheering is completely different than seeing some piece of art like by yourself where you're just like thinking and dwelling on it. You know what I mean? Like totally different things, but still like would put under the label cinema or film.
So cinema is experiencing art in a way that speaks to yourself.
In a, like a video format, I guess.
Yeah. I think because that's what the medium of cinema comes down to is like,
Because it's not just film anymore. So I think film has just been like because that was the first way, like practical way to do video was through like just rolls of film. I think people have just taken that name, and even though that like if you say a filmmaker and you've never touched like a Bolex or like a super
Shout out
super 8
Skullstad.
camera.
That was
Skullstad.
right,
You
like-
got to shoot on a Bolex,
I
right?
did.
Yeah.
That was such an incredible experience. Like to feel like you're touching everything with like
You're touching your video.
You're touching your video.
Yeah.
And that is
Yeah.
a weird sense of like knowing that every single little tweak that the camera does for you, you have to do it yourself. I feel like it really integrates that.
Have you shot film
Well, it's all
photography
it's all
before?
physical. So you're like practically doing that to like a thing rather than like a memory card that's just processing.
I have not
information.
shot photography film.
Oh,
but,
you got
but with the Bolex,
If you like that, then you got to shoot film photos, man. That's the same thing. It's great.
and you have to wait that delay time.
I'm waiting on
It was
5
like-
rolls right now.
It was
bro.
like Christmas.
Bro, I had
Check my email real quick.
I
see
just
if they got
had
here.
shout out State Lab Films.
Yeah, shout out State Lab. I have 5 rolls from.
I sent 2 rolls in that I finished up like a month ago or 2 months ago. And no,
no,
they
mine
came
aren't
in
here
like
yet,
3
sorry.
or 4 days. They were super quick. They were like, it'll take 2 weeks, and they got back to me in like 5 days. And it was crazy.
We're
And-
going on 2 weeks from mine.
Well, they probably have like, it's fluctuating.
I
so I
know.
probably just
I
like
also
slid. I probably slid right in at like a gap time or
I
something.
sent 5 medium format rolls. In,
Oh, well, that's a little. I sent 2 35 millimeter film rolls, and they
They're
got
just like
they get back
for
to me
the-
super quick, and they sent them all or whatever. And what was crazy about it was like what did they do?
Did you get minor corrections?
I don't think I did anything. I was just like, just do it.
No. Oh, then you did.
I-
Shout
yeah.
out State Film Lab for being awesome. Check
Yeah,
them
they're
out.
fantastic.
Sponsor
But
our podcast.
They sent me. That'd be great. They this very inconsistent podcast.
If you go here, we'll even plug them right now. If you go to their website and enter your email, join their mailing list, you'll get $15 off your next order of 2 rolls or more,
Dude,
which
he
is
knows the
about
deals, baby.
about a free roll if you do just
Like
2 rolls.
35, yeah.
So anyway,
But-
little plug. We love State. We love
Yes,
State Film
but I
Lab.
had waited 2 years, like a year.
Oh yeah, I remember when you.
I
yeah.
developed them, or I didn't develop. I finished them, and I was like, "Well, I'm just gonna put this on my shelf," because I'm like, I don't want to do it like every single roll. Just send them in. I want to get like 3 or 5 or something like that. Because it's just like you have to ship all of that, so it's like ends up being cheaper if you just like if you ship it to them with like 10 rolls versus like 10 different times of shipping, like through like UPS or whatever. And so and like you just get it back, and it's like there's a different experience with the physicalness of everything.
Well, and I do some of my own developing. I don't do it always. I could teach you how to do it. Or send you some videos either way. But I have been doing that since high school because my high school had a film photography class. But then I started doing color at my house, which again, it's the same kind of thing. Like the results aren't always as good as they could be if they went to a lab. But once you get really good at it, you can get some pretty awesome images that
yeah, you
get
developed the
I did
first
some of
rolls
yours
that I
and
ever did.
They look pretty good, I think.
Mhm.
But I
that was
just
shot
haven't.
on like the CV. That was shot on like CVS film, like the 3-pack
yeah,
of Fuji
yeah.
film.
Oh,
that you
dude, Fuji Superior is great, man. But I just haven't had time. But that's my favorite way to do it too, because I get to do the whole process, and then even going and taking it, which is already. I think the big thing you're touching on is intimacy. You have intimacy with your art in a different way when you get to control all of those factors. And so if you get to oversee that whole process, that feels really good and really personal. And being able to have the power to go shoot a roll of film this morning, develop it, and then scan it this afternoon. And you can do it all in one day if you are fast enough and are experienced enough. And it really does create quite a unique experience. And then I'm rambling, but printing them too is one of the most magical things in the world.
I do. I have some printing photos. Peter McKinnon talks about that a lot. Throw it back to YouTube before we go back to
Wait,
Jarek.
have you printed on film though?
No, but hold on.
Okay.
So I'm sure that's completely different. But I'm just saying, like printing your photos and getting them physical, whether it's just like an 8x10 or bigger.
It's a whole nother.
It's just like,
intimate
whoa, like
experience.
versus, especially if you just like take photos and you put them on Instagram, and it's like, oh, it's cool, but like having it hang in your house, like if it's something you're proud of, is really
Especially when it's like big, like massive. Like we're used to seeing everything like we're used to seeing everything like so small, and when you see something that's like that's condensed to something that's the size of your wall or like the size of it, it's a whole nother experience.
Yeah, and
just
that's-
like movies too.
That's
like,
why I have a 70-inch television, because when I watch TV and movies, I want to watch it like I want to respect it in a way. Like obviously every piece of content you watch can't be like done on that, right? Like if
Yeah.
you're traveling or if you just download an episode you want to keep up on, but it's like those people work really hard to make that happen, and it's like I want to consume that in a way that, you know, people would want it to be consumed, and usually that's not on a cell phone, you know, most of the time, unless you're like commercial video and you're like making it vertical for a specific reason and like that kind of stuff. But it's like people make stuff so you can see it on a big screen.
It's weird to me how, I mean, it makes sense, but how simply we've adapted now to vertical video. Like vertical video was such a no-no. Like,
Yeah.
for a while, and everyone. Yeah, I remember when TikTok first got popular. Even though Vine already was doing vertical video, everyone was like, "No, not vertical." And now, it's just like
I like it.
I don't like vertical video.
Just another way to look, but that's only because your rectangle that you're holding in your hand is upwards, not sideways.
Yeah.
yeah, it's true. It's just the same.
If everyone just pulled out their phone sideways, the world would be different. But it's not. So
But before we move on
I
completely,
want to go back to Jarek.
Printing photos from like a film photos is magical because you take this blank piece of paper, you just shine light through your film, and then is that Millie? And you put it in this chemical solution in the darkroom, and then it just you watch it wash across the page, and it just appears like magic. It's incredible. You got to do it sometime.
Jarek.
Back to Jarek.
Yeah.
Back to YouTube. So you said you're a big Casey Neistat guy.
Yeah, and I was when we were talking about that, I was trying to figure out I was trying to remember when I exactly got into it, and it was through high school. My school was very
What year is it?
2016.
Okay, so this is junior in college.
Like
at this point.
my sophomore.
Old man. Sorry, keep going.
We had a really good film program or like film production, and it was
high school.
In high school, yeah. And
You went to Chambersburg, right?
yeah, well, not Cassius, but there was a special school that you could go to called the Career Magnet School, and that's
heard
where
of it.
I went. And it's all technologically based. Where you do your homework on your iPad. You just carry an iPad around, and that's it.
That
and,
makes sense. There was a couple schools like that around here.
CASA
It's
is
like
like that,
CASA
right?
was a big art school around here.
And like if you had good grades, you can get into it and everything. But it wasn't like out of reach for.
Did you have good grades?
people. No. I
Wait, how'd you get in?
If you
know-
have good
did you know
grades,
somebody?
Did you have good grades?
So I had C's and B's, and then I was on the wait list for like 3 months, and I was just like, oh, I want to get into school. And 4 kids dropped out because they didn't want to do it. And yeah, that's what I did.
Wasn't meant for them.
No, it was
Wasn't meant
not.
for them.
But
They're not artists.
so,
They're not Jarek.
That's so messed up.
but the coolest part
That's
about
so
it,
messed up. I'm sorry. They are probably. Hopefully.
I mean, it was a weird dynamic in my school. It was half rednecks in the magnet school.
the
Yeah,
magnet
it was like half rednecks, and like the other half was like cool with everybody. But like they were also weird.
So it was like blue. It was like blue collar people who are learning how to be like mechanics
Plumbing,
in high school, and then
mechatronics.
it was like artists. And
Yeah,
so it's
they're
just
just
this
like,
weird
I just
line.
want the iPad.
So it's like two very technical things, but some people are like making like visual art, and like probably I have a certain type of personality, and then some other people are making like I like the idea that like blue collar stuff is like hidden art or like regular art that you can't
I like that.
you see like when someone does trim or drywall really well, like it's really like if you've ever tried to smooth drywall out, like so you don't get big lines in between your sheets, like there's a reason why some of those people are paid very well, because it's like
They can do it
very
really well.
difficult to do.
My buddy's
And then you get a
painter.
smooth wall,
Yeah.
right? And then but they're not making something that you're supposed to just go like, wow, like that impacts me visually, you know?
Someone once said that like the best design goes unnoticed, and it's like it falls. I have a buddy who's a very talented graphic designer. Actually, you know his brother, Connor Ryan's little brother, Tully.
Sure.
Oh, you don't know Connor Ryan? I thought you knew Connor Ryan.
Yes.
Okay.
Little brother, I don't.
Connor Ryan has a younger brother named Tully, who's
Oh.
my friend. We were like,
Have
In the similar age.
Have I met him? No. Yes?
but you know Connor.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all you need to know.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying Connor has a younger brother.
I thought we were like, you know, Tully. And I'm like,
No,
no.
I know you don't know Tully.
Okay, sorry.
I'm saying you know Connor.
Yes.
His younger brother, Tully,
Mhm.
is a graphic designer,
Mm.
but also a painter. And he does
Like with like
house painting.
house painting. Okay.
And so he actually just did something on Green Street. And he is so talented. He does like insane
Clean edges, bro.
freehanded free-handed detailing on a green street. I'll show you it, the house he did sometime. Next time we go to Amps, it's right there. But that to me, again, he is so talented at both like visual art, but then can also take that over into like that technical skill.
Yeah, that kind of stuff like construction or even like you think about like good electrical work.
Oh,
Just like a well-placed outlet. You're
yeah.
like, wow, my
I
life is better because of this. And it's just like, if that's not art, bro,
so
I don't know what is.
the deal was with my school is that the artsy kids had to go to do these like blue collar like programs, and I was in mechatronics, and it was terrible. So I had to do all the like the electrical work. Like I learned how to set up a breaker and like
good skill to
voltage.
have, though.
It is, but
I can't tell you shit about a breaker.
but yeah, I just it is there is a lot of art in that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also wanted to talk about my school. There was this incredible room where all of us would get together that had all the resources we needed for like film and what is it? Like film, VR, music production, like green screen. Oh yeah, green screen.
Yeah, if you want to talk this way, just turn the mic.
Yeah,
point
there
at
you go. There you go. And what was it called? I forget what the room was called. But anyway, we would just all meet there, and that's where it like kind of started the studio. Yeah, it was. Oh my gosh, I forget what it's called. But it was. Yeah, a lot of us learned different skills there, and yeah, I don't know what else to say.
No, that's super cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know you went to like a different school. That's really cool. Was that a private or was it like charter? Like
No, it wasn't a private. It wasn't a charter. I think it was just. I honestly don't
it was a
know.
magnet school. It was probably some level of charter then, is my guess. But anyway, either way. And so after that, after you graduated, what did you do?
Oh man, so I barely graduated. I had a 1.8 GPA.
Oh, high school?
Yeah, high school.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't care.
You're still in college.
I would sit in that room and just learn and edit and
So you like do the stuff, but not
do
like
stuff.
the structure of the school.
yeah, I would not do the schoolwork. And I was like,
Fight against the man, bro.
but
Fight against the machine.
I don't even know. Well, I did do my work. I didn't graduate on time, but then I did all my work in the next semester and finished all my work. So then that's what I did. And then I was like, you know what? I want to start doing like music videos and all the skills that I learned sitting there. And so I started a kind of a not the best music video brand, but just like a kid starting somewhere. And yeah, I started a music video business and went to California, I think 8 times.
Oh, what? I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
yo.
yeah. So I
Joe, bro, he's been there more than you, bro. He's more LA than you.
I had a really good client, and he.
Podcast about Jarek, not about me. Come on now.
It's about all of us if you think about it.
True.
It is.
Every podcast about everyone.
Every podcast, it's just life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, keep going.
But I connected with one of my clients over there, and we got along and we just did so much stuff, and it was such a great time in my life to what is it? To progress into something and build a foundation in something that I loved.
Yeah.
And also it was like haha, I'm a rebel. Like, look what I'm doing. I didn't graduate school, but
you didn't like graduate school. You're not going to college right away.
Yeah.
But you're doing the thing that you want to do before everyone else is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like so many people come into college having absolutely no idea what they want to do, and that's okay. Like, it is a place where you can figure that out.
Yeah.
But if you can go in with an idea of
with at least a direction.
Yeah, of where you want to be, you can have. I think you really can maximize your experience as a result.
Oh, yeah.
It's so smart.
Yeah, that's why I'm here right now in college. It's just I understand after like doing all of that, I felt like a plateau in my
wait, how many years post high school were you just like making
2
videos?
years. 2 years.
Okay.
January 2020 is when I like.
You're like,
Wait,
I'm going to
Is your
college.
birthday in January?
Yeah. Mine is the second. Yours is like the 9th, right?
The 3rd.
The 3rd. Yeah.
So
Oh.
you're like, I'm going to college
Because I
in
need
2020.
Yeah, and I didn't get in at first. I wanted to go to Messiah because I knew a lot of people there. I told you about Salt and Light and all that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. They're plugged in heavy there.
Yeah, and I met a lot of them. I met a lot of people from there, and they liked Messiah. And where did I leave off? I don't know.
You didn't get in the first time.
Oh yeah. So I went to Hagerstown Community College. I brought my GPA to a 4.0 and then got into
Attaboy.
Messiah.
Scamming the system, baby. I love it.
Boy.
Like, I got a bad
do.
GPA.
That's-
I mean, that's smart. I mean, that's what they're looking for. It's like any college is just like, can this guy, like, is this guy gonna? Because like colleges are businesses, and I think people forget that. So it's like, is this student gonna waste our time? Because like if you go into college because you're like, I have money, and then you bomb, it's like you're wasting that teacher's time and resources and all that kind of stuff. So like people obviously want to avoid that because like there's people who are gonna spend that money and are willing to work harder than you and like be a part of that like group that they're creating. We don't have to talk about college too much.
No,
but
that's okay.
Yeah, I might go off if we talk about college too much.
I guess we'll just end with college with what I'm about to say is that I experienced both worlds of building myself a foundation before I went and also going to college and learning film from a scholarly level.
Yeah.
And I feel like having best of both worlds really establishes myself into what I want to do.
100%.
So
you can't
No, that
be
makes
in
sense.
you can't be in the filmmaking world if you haven't actually been, boots on the ground. Like it's not.
It's just harder.
It's just so much more difficult. Or you just have to start like lower, or in terms of.
Well, there's just things like you learn a lot of theory and stuff like that, but then it's like you show up on set as a PA and like someone's like, go take lunch orders, and then you just like freak out because you don't know
You're
how
like,
to do
what?
that.
This isn't. This
And
is,
you're like,
this isn't noir.
yeah, this isn't cinema. And you're like, well, no, and, it's because like a lot of film is just very practical. Like
'Cause it is-
outside of like the why of a story, like there's a lot of technical know-how and there's a lot of like function that just needs to happen. Like a caterer isn't really making the film,
Oh,
Right.
but Crafty
but
makes the
they're
film.
so important, right? Because if like you're on set and you're eating bad food and you're on set for like a week or something like that, it's just like your brain's just gonna be fried and you're gonna be tired and
not
like
going to get the
annoyed.
best performance.
Yeah, and so it's like
From anybody.
like
anybody,
directly are they making the film? No, but like indirectly are they supporting the people who are like doing the technical stuff? Yes.
That's why I almost always stay to finish the credits.
To watch all them credits?
Yeah, because each of those people that are mentioned are like an
Did
integral
something.
piece.
Yeah.
Like even down to the smallest like PA.
Yeah, who
Getting
just like had to
coffee.
go like buy a t-shirt for set
Yeah, or like
something,
they
whatever.
were a runner for the day and they're like, we need batteries.
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
you're like,
that
well-
battery, you don't realize the butterfly effect of like that battery could power the
The
mic
monitor
pack
for
that's
the-
on
yeah.
Robert Pattinson, and like that made them be able to finish on time without going over budget or whatever,
Yeah, and that's obviously dramatic, but it's even
Right.
like
I mean, that's for
just
the
because
sake
like
of
the director was able to like if you're buying batteries for a director to be able to see his monitor, it's like now like the cinematographer didn't have to have like a director like over his shoulder, like looking over, and it's like that all that kind of stuff super important. And it's like that's like throws me back to like the whole like blue collar stuff where it's like
well, that's where I was gonna go with it.
like that kind of labor or like work that's not seen or like that's seen but not noticed, maybe is a better way to say it. Like people like is so
It's not I like it's not advertised.
yeah, but it's like
not
so crucial.
hey.
You know?
Like Goodwill Hunting. I feel like that is a good ode
like
to
what part of it?
like how
like
somebody
his whole,
so
like-
brilliant
Oh, yeah.
wants to
Oh,
do something
right.
so not so brilliant.
I love that model where he's like, this is an important job.
Yeah.
I am doing important work.
Mhm.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that's where I think it's really cool that your school, despite attracting like very artistic people, made you guys go back in and
And
at least
do,
experience this other side of it. And I'm assuming it was vice versa with like art for the blue collar
I would
people.
say
Yeah.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like that's so important for like well-roundedness and flexibility.
Some mechanic in like a painting class. It's like funny to me.
Yeah. Like
And then some painter like under the hood of a car being like, what the heck am I
Like-
doing right
like
now?
oil
It's
is
so funny.
Oil
Yeah.
is supposed to go on the canvas, not on my
Not
face. Like-
I love that. Yeah, that idea is really really fun. Jarek, do you have any like impactful movies?
Oh yeah. So it is a kids movie, but I love Toy Story.
Great
That is
film.
my favorite film.
The first one?
The first and second one. I'd say the first one, but
Toy Story. Okay.
it's a. I'll
Your
explain
favorite movie is
myself.
Transformers. Don't.
No, it's not. Back the fuck off, bro.
Oh, it's Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
No,
Sorry.
I'll fight to the death for Transformers being a real piece of cinema. But is it my favorite film? No.
It's Secret Life of Walter Mitty. My bad.
There you go.
But Toy Story was like the first pioneered 3D animation feature film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And seeing them, I watch a lot of videos on what they do behind the scenes.
Brilliant
And
company.
Incredible. I don't know about anymore with like story wise, but like, yeah, that is one of my favorite films, and I watch it all the time, and I learn something from it every single time I watch it.
What's the last thing you learned from it?
Last thing I
Not to
learned.
put you on the spot.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Let me think.
Oh, I've never seen Toy Story
Uh,
before.
Really
football
like-
games.
Stop.
It's a deep
Stop
cut.
the football
It's
games.
a deep cut.
It's a deep cut.
That no one will understand.
I hope people
No.
know what we're talking about with that. Okay, continue, Jarek.
The last thing I learned was it sounds minuscule, but some of the lighting that they had to deal with, like inside, was
It's
so
not minuscule. That's huge.
like in Sid's room was so much different, and how they had to bounce light off of like with the lava lamp like that. Like who how would you think to light a lava lamp in a 3D animated world while you're building the technology from the ground up with the movie? Like it's incredible. Versus like outdoors, like in the scenes like that it's just so it's a lot.
You can just do like a single.
It's
use
just
source.
one
It's
source,
like totally
yeah.
different. Yeah.
yeah, so that was the last thing I learned.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
like
that's huge.
Animation's cool that way because like everything is made. So like, whereas like a lot of film is like you're in a space that's already created, whether it's like the woods or like someone's house. You don't have to build the walls for that house. But like in animation, it's like that trash can in the corner of the background, like somebody drew that.
I vividly remember the featurette from Monsters Inc. where they talk about how they did hair for the first time, and looking at how do we make or fur really? How do we make fur that moves? Where's Millie? This is where Millie would be great. That moves like
If you can find her, you can grab her.
No, it's okay. For those who don't know, Millie is Glenn's cat. That moves, like a cat's fur would, or a monster's fur would, and that I love watching that and seeing how each new film that they come out with is like a new. They intentionally
did something
try
new.
to do
Yeah.
something new.
They
with it,
tackle
yeah.
a new piece
Element,
of tech
yeah.
element.
Yeah.
Like with Finding Dory, it was the octopus. How do you
Oh, yeah.
how do you move around like that? How do you move an object like that around? Am I being too quiet?
No, I was
Okay.
just talking. I was looking at time.
Yeah, and then The Incredibles, I believe it was just working with humans and like moving their bodies in
Right.
a natural way.
Yeah,
But-
100%.
What do you guys think about Pixar?
Love them.
I love The Incredibles.
I definitely have been a little disappointed as of late. Like,
I'm a
Oh,
bigger
me
fan
too.
of drawing animate, like so 2D animation. That's where
see,
that's how I got
I
into
grew up
being
on
like
Pixar.
videos. Like that's how I got into like video and film work. Ultimately through like learning how to draw because I liked like the classic Disney and DreamWorks films that were like 2D animated.
I think I really I grew up on Pixar. Like that was most of the movies that I watched growing up, especially animated. I didn't watch a whole lot of like standard Disney. And so they're like an integral piece of my like filmmaking journey. But I will say I've been a little I don't know. It seems to have lately, the last couple films I've seen by them, lost a little bit of its magic, and I hope that they can continue to bring that, next level storytelling, because that's what I always look forward to, is like a very adult themes that everyone, or not even adult, just like mature themes but they're digestible for anyone of any age.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what's been lost a little bit lately.
It's been lost a lot of it. Their whole model before like 2010 was a
What was
2-year-old
2010?
like
Is that
The
what
Good
they're-
Dinosaur,
No,
Toy
like
Story
Good
3.
Dinosaur is a specific movie that marks the end of that phase, but we'll
Yes.
get back to that.
Yeah, but like a 2-year-old to a 102-year-old can watch our movies, and that's what you were talking about.
I remember. It's funny you bring up The Good Dinosaur. Sorry for anyone who worked on Good Dinosaur. I would love to work at Pixar.
Me too.
Don't blacklist me.
Wait,
but-
at that point was Pixar under Disney or no? They were
They've
still by
been
themselves?
They've been under
for so
Disney.
long. Yeah, they've been
Oh,
Disney.
so it's still
Yeah.
technically Disney.
It had been Disney for
Have
a
you
very
ever seen
long time.
Onward?
Yeah, I
Yes.
have seen Onward.
You relate to that a lot.
I love
don't
that.
you?
Yeah, but it's there's two brothers chasing a dad.
No, that's
and
what I
so it's
mean.
like that's like my life,
Yeah.
or at least my childhood.
No, yeah, that's
Yeah.
That wasn't too. I enjoyed that.
I enjoyed
storyline.
it too.
I
That was a
loved it.
different take on like somebody going on a journey. You don't think it wasn't
I love road trip movies though, and so that does like road trip about father, and it's like
see
fantasy too. So
to me
it's cool.
that was like the better. This is gonna sound weird, but like thematically, that was like the better version of The Good Dinosaur. Like
I haven't seen the Good Dinosaur.
so, The Good Dinosaur came out the same year as Inside Out, I think.
maybe I don't know.
I think it came out around the same time as Inside Out. I'm not sure, but it came out. It was the first time that they started doing like 2 movies in 1 year, and so Good Dinosaur came out. It looked really great, but then it was kind of lackluster, and my whole family, we didn't enjoy it as much as we'd hoped. And then I learned about the production. There were all kinds of changes. It was stuck in development hell for a long time.
I
All
also
kinds
knew
of
that.
crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So and it's still a good movie. Like it's not it's not a bad film. It's not Pixar in
It's
the way
the story. The story is what drove everything, and now
Yeah.
that they have all these cinematic, beautiful qualities,
but then
imagely.
their stories are starting to lose. I think they're losing some of that depth, and I don't think a 102-year-old would sit down and enjoy. But whereas if we put Ratatouille on,
Oh my gosh!
one of the greatest films ever made,
Ratatouille.
one of
I
the greatest
love
films ever
Ratatouille.
made. Like, so I have high hopes though, because even as there have been more films that they come out with, because they're starting to do 2 a year that are not catered for me in the same way that some of their others are. They still are consistently among that, releasing absolutely fantastic. Like Coco was so good.
Yeah, Coco was really
Yeah,
good.
that was also a good
Um,
movie.
I'm trying to think what else recently I saw by them. Inside Out in the last few years. Inside Out I think is brilliant. I freaking cried. Love that movie. Oh, Soul. Have you seen Soul?
Yeah, that
I love
Soul was
Soul was so good.
what held me like to they can still do
Soul
it.
was incredible, man. So,
Yeah,
to put an existential crisis in a kids movie,
yeah.
I was just like, this is brilliant. This is
Yeah.
like all
That's
the
really
stuff
cool.
that I struggle with on a
I take that back.
philosophical
I
level.
forgot about Soul. But
Yeah,
like,
take that.
yeah.
Don't
The Good Dinosaur.
don't count them out. Don't
No.
count Pixar
No.
out yet.
No, I'm not.
Just count
I'm
out
not yet.
the Good Dinosaur.
The bad ones. Yeah. That's where Soul is what like got me into really playing music and like.
Oh, that's so
like,
interesting.
I definitely did it before, but like that's what I was like. That's
But you,
what it feels
You saw
like.
that passion, and you were
Yeah.
like, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
Is that it?
I don't know.
You look tired.
I'm a little sleepy.
You want to watch some bad reality TV now?
No, I gotta do some work.
Okay.
But
Is that it?
Jarek,
Is that
do you
the
have
pod?
anything else to say about yourself?
Jarek, do you have anything else you want to share with the world?
Nothing to my mind right now.
Do you have any movie recommendations for our 20 people who may listen?
Experimental films.
Just
An experimental
anything, bro.
film.
It doesn't have to be experimental. It doesn't have to be mainstream, whatever.
Soul is a good one, but that
Go watch Soul.
go watch
Disney
Soul.
Plus.
Disney Plus. I'll just leave it at that.
Do I have any films? I just recommended Everything Everywhere All at Once the other day. That's a really good film. Have you seen it yet? It's that A24 multiverse movie. It's fire. Really, really good. The Daniels directed it. But for a older release, if you can handle it, watch Killing of a Sacred Deer. It's an A24 film. It's really good. It's very philosophical.
Beautiful. My
Fine.
recommendation would be El Dorado, DreamWorks movie from the early 2000s or late 90s, one of the two.
Very nice.
Very fun. I want to rewatch that sometime soon, but
I've
that's
never
fine.
seen it.
It's phenomenal. It's like
I'll watch it with you. We can watch it right
some
now.
of the better animation in the world.
Oh, was I supposed to go animated? I didn't pick an animated movie.
So bro, you don't have to do nothing on this podcast, bro. It's called Unusually Useful.
True. We are both unusual and useful here.
I'd like to think that. Okay, friends, thank you for giving us an hour of your time. There's nothing else really to say, but
Much love. Peace.
Stay tuned. Goodbye. Goodbye.